Good evening and welcome to our last episode of Know Your Rights for this season. I am your host, Khadija Usher. On our show, you hear directly from attorneys who break down the law and explain the rights of citizens on common legal challenges that confront Belizeans on a daily basis. Tonight, we will be discussing the rights of buyers and sellers when buying online at websites like Belize Buy and Sell. You can watch us live on Channel 7 or on Facebook at Colorblind Multimedia Productions. You can also participate in the conversation by posting your comments or questions on our Facebook page. Joining us tonight to discuss this topic is attorney Leeroy Banner. Good evening and welcome, Leeroy.
Hey, good night. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, especially on our final episode for the season. And we're talking about Belize Buy and Sell. I'm sure a lot of people would be surprised that we even chose this topic because it seems like something that is very informal and very casual. Are there any laws regulating the Belize Buy and Sell or similar online e-commerce businesses in Belize currently?
No, good night. Unfortunately, in Belize, we do not have any laws as it relates to Facebook and social media. But because the law is always evolving, I'm sure that the AG's ministry is probably working on some kind of cyber security laws at this moment. But currently, we have no laws as it relates to buy and sell.
Yes.
But we have the Electronic Evidence Act that kind of help buyers and sellers as well, because under that act now you can, in terms of somebody not living up to the end of the bargain, you can, under the Evidence Act, get evidence into court and you can prove a case in case you want to take the person to court now. So.
Okay. But it's something that's not very much developed, or in your opinion, not developing as fast as how the e-business is developing?
Well, I would say that we are a little bit behind, but like I said, I'm sure that the AG ministry is probably working on some kind of legislation as we speak now, but I cannot speak for them. But
yes, yeah.
I mean, the other day, the whole Facebook thing and you know the whole thing with Belizean cheaters and so on. So I mean, yes. I think that the whole social media is on the agenda in terms of legislation, but I can't tell you exactly where we are and when we have laws to be like up to date with the current phenomenon.
Yeah, yeah. And so we can go into the Electronics Evidence Act and specifically on the protection it offers for buyers and sellers. We get a lot of feedback from purchasers who say they go upon Belize Buy and Sell, they say something they want, they make they message the person who is selling, and they make an agreement to deposit some money for the item. They put in money, no item not come yet. What actions can the buyer take in instances like that?
Okay, well, if you pay somebody if you deposit money into a person's account and the person fails to deliver the goods, then you can sue the person to recover whatever you spent, whatever was deposited into the person's account. And if you are not satisfied with that, then you can also take the person up. You can also make a police report. Mm-hmm. And you can sue the person. Not so you can take the person to court criminally. Yeah. So he can be charged criminally, and you can also sue him to recover whatever money that you deposited into the person's account. No?
Yeah. And is it a similar case for the seller? For instance, we actually noted a very specific case where someone was selling a cell phone, and the arrangement, it sounds like, because the person is, either the seller is not on mainland Belize, the seller at a key, or the buyer is at key, but one of them was at the keys. Mm-hmm. So they sent the cell phone on Tropic Air, and the person was to deposit the money afterwards. But it seems the deposit never happened. So cell phone reached buyer and no money get paid. So would the seller then take a similar course of action?
Of course, the person is open to, if he can first of all identify the person who he sent the phone to. I mean, so when you send your product, you must make sure that you know who you're dealing with. Then, because if you send to somebody you cannot identify, then unfortunately you can't go much further with that, because you have to show the court who you sent the phone to. But let's say what you're saying now is correct. You send the phone to the person fails to deposit the money. then you can sue the person for the cell phone, the value of the cell phone.
Okay.
Because that's a breach of contract, because you sent the phone and he was to deposit the money into your account. That didn't happen, so you can now sue one, and then also you can take the person to be charged criminally. You can make a police report.
Okay.
But in these cases now, you are more concerned with calculating back what you spent. So
Yes.
people do not really normally go the criminal route, but that's an option available as well.
Okay, and actually that was my next question, because I mean it's not only locally, but even on large-scale e-commerce organizations, Amazon, eBay, and so you always hear that these companies have to accept a high amount of loss at the end of the day, just because going a legal route to try and claim back is very costly and very uncertain. So how practical is it for a Belizean, either purchaser or seller, in either of the situations we just identified, who got slanted, as you would have said, go the legal route? How practical is it?
Well, these matters will be dealt with at the magistrate's court. I mean, because once it's under $15,000,
Okay.
then the magistrate's court has jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And fees vary from attorneys to attorneys. I mean, a senior counsel might not even take up the case because it doesn't worth his time. No? So, but a junior attorney might take it up for
Okay.
you, and I don't know. I mean, that if the phone is worth $1,600,
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense to pay $3,000 in legal fees. So you have to consider that as well. So, but you have attorneys who normally will try to help you, but something as simple as that you can pretty much do it yourself in terms of you can gather the evidence. And once you have an idea about your case, you can. I never advise to go to court alone, but if you have to make sense then.
Okay.
And if a phone is worth $1,000,
Yeah.
and attorney will charge you $2,000, then
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I
so
think you really touch on the practicality of
Practicality,
it.
yeah.
And so since you bring that up, saying you could gather at least to some extent the evidence on your own, tell us what we need, because
Okay.
you touched upon identity first, and that the first one for me, I say through Facebook. I always say sweet girl such and such.
Exactly, yeah.
This man, you don't know who the who. So
So what you need to do, you need to know who you're dealing with, first of
Yeah.
all. So if you
Okay.
see somebody on Facebook and for the first time you see the person pop up on buy and sell, I mean, that you have to be careful. So you need to ask questions. So like,
Okay.
you have to know who you're dealing with, first of all, because like I said, this will end up, you won't go to an attorney most of the time for this. So you have to try to be proactive and have to be smart.
okay.
For example, I saw something on buy and sell the other day. Well, my sister told me about it now, that somebody gets scammed out of a phone for like say $1,600, right? And I read the comment and somebody commented, here again. So it means that the person who scammed the phone or scammed the money was a known
Scammer?
Exactly.
Hey,
So,
Vera. Yeah.
so you have, the point I'm trying to make is that you have to know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have to get the person name.
Okay.
I mean, and Belize is very small, so if you see something, you ask everyone, like, who this person is? You try a message them, like, where you live, like, where your name? I mean, you get a number, like, but you just not, like, just
Okay.
jump into it, because at the end of the day, if you cannot prove who the person is, then you can't even enter the gate, you can't even enter the court then, because you have to show the court who you dealt with.
I see.
So knowing who the person is the most important part of it.
And we're expecting that a lot of the transactions will happen through the Facebook platform itself.
Exactly.
So would the messaging, the Facebook message, be like sufficient evidence?
Well, it might be sufficient if in the body of it, the content of it, then you can see exactly like, okay, you message this person, ask about the phone, the person answer back, the whole back and forth. Then the court can gather from it that yes, indeed, there was a contract. You sent the phone, you sent the money, and the person failed to deliver. And so that would be a crucial part of the evidence, because at the end of the day, the court will be able to gather from that conversation know exactly what took place.
Yeah.
So you can print that. You have to show the court that the person you contacted was through your Facebook, that you created an account using your name, create a password, you printed out the chat and so on. But you have to show the court what took place, and you have to show gather your evidence. And under the Electronic Evidence Act now, you are able to use WhatsApp messages, Facebook chat,
Oh, okay.
and so
Yeah.
to support your case.
Yeah, yeah. And what about in terms of the transaction process, as in, because as we saw from both scenarios, both persons or parties agreed to a transaction process. Either he pay first, I deliver first, he deliver. Is that very important for you to spell out in the series of messaging as well?
Yes, exactly. So what you want to do now, you want to tell a person, well, I mean, if I'm doing it now, we say, okay, did you get the phone?
Okay.
Right? And
Yes.
person say, okay, I got it, where I will go to traffic this afternoon and pick it up. Then you message again, did you get the phone? Yes, I got the phone. I mean, I think so, to show that the person indeed got the product.
Left a trail.
Yeah, left a trail,
So we could
because,
see.
yeah, exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I see
And
what
because
events.
sometimes these, I won't say gangsters or scammers, but sometimes these sellers, initially they will be nice to you, so they will probably give you information that you can use against them in court. They will not think that, okay, well, they will not be shady from the get-go then. So they will answer you forthright in these chat. Yes, I get the phone, or yes, I will send it.
Okay.
Right? I mean, so
Yeah.
but the point I'm trying to make is that you have to try to show the court and gather the evidence to help your case, because at the end of the day, it's your word against his word. And if you can have something to support your self-story, then that can tip the court into a ruling in your favor.
Your favor,
Yeah.
yeah. And when we get back, we just need to take a short commercial break. But when we get back, I want to get into how buy and sell as the company, the e-commerce, plays a role in all of this between buyer and purchaser. So we will be right back after this short break. Good evening and welcome back to Know Your Rights. We're here with attorney Leeroy Banner and we're talking about Belize buy and sell. So we had a very good introduction in terms of the purchaser and the buyer, but we need to come to Belize buy and sell and the responsibility that they have as being this platform for e-commerce. Now, in terms of the payments, which we've classified basically as fraudulent. Either the buyer not comes through or the purchaser not come through. Does buy and sell have any responsibility to ensure that the activities that is happening through their platform is not fraudulent?
Well, buy and sell cannot really, to me, doesn't have a say in it, because it's a Facebook platform, and at the end of the day, it's governed by Facebook policy. So if you see something that is a scam or something that is not correct, then you can report it to Facebook, and then Facebook can remove the pictures and so on. So, but like I said, we do not have any laws in Belize that regulates Belize buy and sell.
Okay.
So the only option is to contact Facebook or any of the social media and report whatever is going on is not correct, and maybe they can remove the product or something like that. No, block the person from posting up in the future, but I don't know exactly how Facebook works, but I know that you can report it and sometimes they can do something now.
And this also goes for the content that is posted up, because I mean, many times, at least I know when I was going through buy and sell, sometimes I see these posts that say, I know this is not the place for it, but so and so, and it's like a rant or it is on somebody or something. So does that also go for the content, that because they fall under this Facebook platform that you're saying, then buy and sell doesn't necessarily have to do anything about it?
No, but I mean that at the end of the day, buy and sell has an obligation to the Belizean public because they provide a service. So as a good corporate citizen, you expect that they will do the right thing then.
Okay.
But like I said, legally you can't compel them to do anything because they are not regulated.
So legally they can't be held liable for any of the content either?
No, because when you see something on buy and sell, Belize, it's not a contract. As I said, the person just has something to sell.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's up to you, the buyer and the seller, to meet and come to an agreement. So I can put up anything for a sale. That's not a contract, as I said. That's just an invitation to sell something.
I see.
So it becomes a contract now when the buyer and seller agrees and money changes hand or whatever the case may be. But so buy and sell, to me, really is just taking advantage of Facebook and social media. But can't really regulate them or penalize them if they fail to put things up that is not true or things like that at the site now.
Yeah, it really seems a bit at your own risk kind of game.
Pretty much is that you first of all it's very informal, so you don't have any protection, so to speak.
Yes.
Unless you can gather evidence and go to court. But
yeah.
the government cannot regulate Belize buy and sell at this moment. Then.
Yeah, and even more so, identifying that buy and sell really, you can't pin anything on them. We spoke earlier and you said that it might not be financially practical to go to court, but can you still gather a case? Because you say, again, make sure you get evidence. So it really sounds like you gathering this is very important and you could have a chance.
Okay, first of all, well, it all depends on how much you spend then. Okay. So let's say you spend $1,600 then.
Yes.
To get an attorney to me might not make sense because he might charge more than the $1,600. But you on your own then can gather your own evidence. So you can, if you make a deposit to the person, you keep that deposit slip. Yeah. You understand? So if there's a chat history, you print out that chat history. And then if there's any other evidence, then let's say you send it by BPMS and there's a receipt, you keep that receipt.
Okay.
If you send it by traffic, your Maya, you keep that receipt as well. So you can go to court and show the court in a sequential order that, here what, this is my story. We started off by chatting on Facebook.
Yes.
I went to the bank and I made a deposit. Then from there, and then you can list it out, so you can gather evidence on your own. Yeah. Then what you can do, you can go to the court, court number 8, because that's the court that deals with these civil suits, and they clerk a court, and the person at the court will guide you. Then. Okay. You fill out your plaint.
Mm-hmm. People who might not be as comfortable, just
Exactly, and you pretty much you can. Law is not something that is convoluted. Then you can just go there. You can list in a sequential order what took place. Okay. And you go in front of the court and you can present your case to the magistrate, and if on a balance of probability the magistrate believes your story and you have some kind of evidence to support it, then you could sue successfully. Mm-hmm. So it's not something you can do on your own then. Yeah.
What happens is we have this idea in our mind that when you go to court, usually want long, drawn up, heavy, intense case. I'm not sure if that come from TV or media or stuff, but you could build your own small civil suit and you take it and you have a chance at.
Of course, I mean, like I say, nothing is like going with an attorney, but like any idea, if you can't afford an attorney, then you can just sit back and say, well, I'll lose my $1,500 and that's it. You can do something to help yourself then. Yeah. And the court is there to assist you, and the court is not as mean as people will think, right? So,
okay. And in terms of buy and sell, and I just have to come back to them one more time, because for me it's very interesting that they are not regulated at all. Because I go on Amazon, for instance, and before I make any purchase, I receive a long bunch of paragraphs with all these terms and conditions. And we read them, and then we click I accept and stuff, so that you know what you're getting into. So buy and sell doesn't really have to do any of that on their platform, really.
No, I mean, like I say, it's just you want to sell two or tennis, you just put it on buy and sell, and you know, person meet me by brothers, and you meet my brothers, and the deal done. Yeah. And it's simple, it's that informal then, right? Yes. And that's why it's hard when somebody gets scammed, because then you might not even know who you're dealing with, because it's so informal. You fail to gather the pertinent information, like the person's name, by live, by work. I mean, you might just say, what, it's a good deal, I want a new Jordan, I like this. Christmas to come, I want a red Jordan, and you go buy it quickly without even doing due diligence, right? Yeah, okay. So at the end of the day, it's up to the seller and the buyer to do their due diligence, man, and know exactly who they deal with. Yeah. Ask are wrong. I mean, it won't hurt to just ask a true friend if you know this person. Yeah.
Okay. And let's go more into the content. Some of the items that we're seeing going through these transactions on buy and sell. For instance, the Christmas time. A lot of people, they sell liquor. I see a lot of people, they sell liquor.
I think I see they sell liquor.
I know they sell liquor. But I see people, they sell liquor. And I know I say if I buy liquor neither. I just say I see people, they sell liquor. Is that okay? Can regular people just start selling like stuff like liquor on buy and sell?
No, according to the laws, and as I understand it to be, is that you need a liquor license to sell liquor, so you cannot sell liquor without a license. So
Okay.
whosoever is selling liquor without a license, they commit an offense.
Yeah.
And like you said, the fact that it's Christmas and we live in Belize and none of us can afford the real price of a blue label or black label, so you might buy the contraband liquor, which is also illegal now. And you are aware that just recently the law there's an amendment to the law, so the fines is even more stiffer if you're caught with uncustom goods and
And they
so
could
on.
use buy and sell evidence against you if they catch you selling the contraband or so?
No, it will be hard to use the buy and sell because you will have to prove that the person you saw on buy. It's very difficult because you have to show that this person that you saw. Because like I said, when you have something on buy and sell to sell, they cannot charge you for that.
Okay.
So I can put up anything for a sale. That's not illegal.
Yeah.
I can put up a gun, I can put up an M16, I can do. That's not illegal.
Okay.
When I make the sale now, it's illegal.
It's the transaction.
Exactly. So if somebody has up liquor for sale, custom can't do nothing unless the person actually sells somebody and the person will testify that I purchased this liquor from Mr. X, right?
Yeah,
So it's a bit
a lot of technicalities to get
yeah.
into. Okay, we just have to take one more short break, and when we return, Leeroy will be answering some of your Facebook questions. We will be right back. Welcome back to Know Your Rights. I am Khadija Usher, and our guest tonight is attorney Leeroy Banner, and we are discussing your rights when buying or selling Belize Buy and Sell. We thank you for your questions and comments on Facebook. We have selected 2 of your questions to ask our guest attorney. So Carol asked, if people can just get away with taking your money and not delivering the goods they are selling?
Like I mentioned earlier, that if that happens, then you can sue the person to recover back what you spent, and you can also take them to the criminal court as well. You can give a police report, and they could be charged criminally for theft.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they can't get away then.
Okay. Yeah. We definitely touch. And secondly, Carol wants to know if there are any laws to protect buyers and sellers on Belize Buy and Sell. So,
like I mentioned earlier, we do not have any like cybersecurity laws as yet, but I do believe that something's in the pipeline then, because we must catch up with this change in our society now, which is Facebook and social media and all those things.
yeah, it's definitely on a boom.
Of
the
course,
tech age.
it's the in thing these days. When you want to buy something, go and check buy and sell Belize.
Yeah, easy. And so you touched on one thing that I just want to get back to right before the break, and it is just a little bit mind-blowing that you can put items on buy and sell, but to kind of close the case, and this is probably where we get into a lot of the legal technicality, to really close the case and for the police and the authority to go after you, is that it is more of the transaction process. Can you explain it?
Okay, what I was saying is that you can put anything up for sale.
Yeah.
That is fine. It's when there's an actual transaction, or then that is when the contract is formed.
Yeah.
So before that stage, then it's just what you call an invitation to trade. It's more of you inviting someone to come and say, hey, but I like Sida, I won't say gun, but I like Sida tennis, like how much for it? So it's more like something to get you to come in and have a discussion then. So it's not final until you make the purchase then, and you change money and so on, right? But so I don't want to think that you can just display guns and sell it, right?
By no means is it right to put up firearms or liquor and those things without having the proper license.
Exactly, because when it comes to the firearm, since we're on that now, is that only with the permission of the commissioner can you sell a firearm.
Okay.
So first of all, you have a gun dealer in Belize. You need a gun dealer's license to sell firearm.
Yeah.
So you cannot sell firearm without having a license.
Yeah.
But sometimes you might be a licensed firearm holder, but you want to upgrade then. You have an old SIG. So you might want a German Ruger now.
Yeah.
So what you do now, you can write to the commissioner and say, Mr. Commissioner, I have a gun, I want to trade it in, I want to give it up to Mr. X, who also has a license. Then the commissioner can give you permission to sell it to that person.
Yeah.
But without the commissioner's permission, then you cannot sell any firearm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the law is clear on that. You need a gun dealer license first. So
Yeah.
if somebody has a gun up on by himself for sale and will actually sell it, then they commit an offense, because you cannot sell it unless you have the permission from the commissioner of police.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to emphasize heavily is also that just because you're in the electronic world, not change any of the commercial laws that really govern the country. Just because that's through computer, that means that how anything changes.
Exactly.
In terms of
You must,
sales.
whatever you are doing,
Yes.
you must be in compliance with the law, because you cannot enter into a legal contract.
Yeah.
So if you sell a firearm without the permission of the commissioner, then that's illegal. If you sell contraband goods, that's illegal. So
Yes.
you cannot come to the court and say, okay, well, I enter into a legal contract now, and the person failed to deliver my liquor, and I want the court to enforce my contract. The court will say, no, you enter into something illegal. So,
Yes.
so even though you do it online, or there are repercussions if you fail to abide by the law, comply with the law. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you enter these contracts at your own risk then,
Yeah.
illegal contracts then.
Yes. And what final piece of advice would you like to give or buy and sell buyers and sellers?
I mean, it's simple. You have to know who you deal with.
Okay.
I mean, I can't overemphasize that. You have to know your customers then.
Yeah.
You have to know your sellers. You like I say, if somebody just pop out of the woodwork and say, I have this latest iPhone 10X for sale for
One a day. Yeah.
$1,000,
Yeah.
right? If it's too good to be true,
Chances are.
exactly. So you cannot just jump at the first deal. You see, you check around, man. Because you have legitimate businesswomen and men who deal and buy and sell, and they're very professional.
Yes.
So you can do the same thing. So if you want to buy something, you ask around, man, and you'll be surprised that people will really comment honestly.
Okay.
So you just find out. You ask a few questions. You don't jump at the first offer. You do your due diligence then, and you check out exactly what you get into then. Because at the end of the day, things hard right now, and to me, $500 is a lot of money.
Yes.
Much less $2,000. So
Yes, it is.
you don't want to lose anything then. So just know who you deal with then, and just try to be careful then.
Definitely.
And before you pass any money, at least you know the person's name, and you try something. Try the only homework then.
Be safe and be aware
Exactly.
online.
Yeah.
And thank you, Leeroy. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of our show for tonight and the last show for this first season of Know Your Rights. I want to first thank you, Leeroy, for joining
Thank
us
you.
and providing very useful information on tonight's topic. And I want to thank all of you viewers at home and abroad who have been tuning in, sending in your questions, and sharing on our Facebook page. We are pleased that you have been enjoying the topics we have chosen. For the next season, we invite you to send us ideas on topics that you would like us to cover when we return in January. Tonight's episode of Know Your Rights repeats at 1 p.m. on Sunday on Channel 7, and it will also be available for your viewing on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for watching and making Season 1 a success. From all of us here at Know Your Rights and Colorblind Multimedia Productions, we wish you a safe and happy holiday season. Good night.